Welcome to Upgrade Your Fan Club with Storied's relationship feature. In this short video, I'm going to take you through what Storied's relationship feature looks like and ways that you can build your fan club. So what is a fan club? For those of you that may not know, that stands for friends, neighbors, and associates. This is an extremely valuable research method that was developed by Elizabeth Shown Mills, and it really helps you reveal important clues about people that were important in your ancestors' lives that weren't family members. So why should you use Storied? Well, Storied allows those relationships to be attached to your family tree and people within your family tree. We've got some standard categories: classmates, friends, neighbors, military comrades, fellow congregants, colleagues, even pets. And we also have other. Other is really a nice feature because you can add and customize whatever kind of relationship you want to with that other category. So here's what it looks like. When you use Storied's relationship feature, each person in your family tree has a relationships tab in their profile, which makes it really nice. So this is one of my ancestors, Henry Von Poole. Here's his relationships tab, and you can see the relationships that I've added for him. I have used some of our standard categories, but then I added one here on the other and created my own custom category called family, friend, and neighbor. So each person in your tree has their own special relationships tab. So what can you do to build out your fan club for your ancestors? I'm going to take you through just some different ideas of things that you might look for and be able to find people that you can add to those relationships. So the first one is document witnesses. Think about the different documents that your ancestors might have been part of. So think of like a marriage license, marriage certificate, what witnesses were on there, maybe godparents for a baptism, guardians or executors, possibly for a will. And the idea here is just to kind of get this jump started for you. There are so many other types of documents. These are just some to kind of get you started. Think about community neighbors. This is one of my favorite ones. Think about neighbors listed on census records, farm neighbors, landowners and tenants, boarders and lodgers. That one is one that I've had a lot of success, the boarders and lodgers, with my ancestors living in another household that wasn't part of their family unit. So looking at those are great sources of fan club. Educational ties. Think about teachers or schoolmates, even university colleagues that your ancestors might have had. Associates and business ties, maybe business partners, employers and employees, trade or craft colleagues, clients or customers, if they were in business, and even debtors or creditors with bank references. I've found several of those, even in newspapers, that were tied to my ancestors with debtors and creditors. Legal and government figures. Think about witnesses in court records, political connections that your ancestors might have had, and military comrades. Social and religious circles. Think of church leaders and members, club or society members. I have lots of luck with that one. Friends mentioned in letters or diaries, and even celebrations and the attendees that were at those celebrations. Maybe historical or cultural figures. Maybe there were prominent local figures your ancestors interacted with, or authors or creators that mentioned your ancestors. Think about migration and travel connections. Were there travel companions? I've had that one multiple times. Maybe neighbors from the old country, or even settling companions once they migrated to a new location, and who did they settle with that weren't family tied? Miscellaneous connections might be doctors or midwives, and even household staff. I've had some luck with some household staff. I actually found a picture that I had never seen before of my third great grandfather, and it was because it was staff that had been mentioned in a blog post that was part of his household staff. So think about those connections. And then don't forget newspapers. You can look in society and gossip columns, business announcements, legal notices, church and school news, community event coverage, and even wedding and funeral notices to find mentions of your ancestors, and then finding people that were also mentioned in those pieces. Here's an example that I have of a case study that I did. This was actually Henry Von Poole, who I mentioned at the beginning. This was his daughter. And I noticed that she had a really unique middle name, and it was not a family name. So I did a surname search in the area. It was in Cincinnati, Ohio, and found a newspaper article that mentioned a family with that surname. And then I found them in the census record, and they lived right down the street from my third great grandfather. So, there's a connection there probably somehow. I haven't dug into that further, but it's just an example of how you can use that fan club to really find some interesting people and connections in your family. So to kind of wrap up, think about relationships outside the family tree. Make sure to download the worksheet for a list of the fans that we talked about. Don't forget to use newspapers, and start, upload, or import your tree for free today at Storied.com to get started on all of those great relationships outside the family tree. Thank you for watching.